Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are just about to get started. It is a busy day here at Brandon Flight Center. My name is Jillian. I am the Student Services Coordinator here at BFC. Our instructor is pretty busy up in the air, and so I'm the one that stays on the ground to help direct traffic, so to speak. You guys are calling with questions about the flight school or your student that needs assistance. I'm usually the one that runs direction on that. So as we get started here today, I want to begin with just thanking all of you guys for joining us, whether that is here today or if you are catching this on the replay on the website. I would also like to tend our deepest gratitude to the other half of the team on all of this, and that's the folks over at Assiniboine Community College. They have just brought so much enthusiasm to this project that we never could have gotten it off the ground without them, and we're very, very grateful to be part of that team. Okay, we've got a little bit of light housekeeping here before we begin. If 2 years of pandemic has taught us nothing else, we know that virtual meetings have all sorts of drama. I'm asking everybody, please keep your microphones muted and your webcams off for the duration of the presentation. Dogs bark, kids scream, we've all been there, just leave them off. Secondly, we will be ending with a Q&A session. If you have questions, you have a couple of ways to get them to me. If you're on Facebook, we are at CYBR Airport. For Twitter and Instagram users, it's at Brandon Flight Center. Or if you're joining us live, feel free to use the chat box here, and I will do my best to answer everything at the end. If you have questions that I don't have the answer to, I will also make sure to post the answers with the recording on the website once it's live, so check back. Just a slight disclaimer here, I am not a pilot. I'm coming to you as an administrator, so anything technical, I'm going to have to refer back to my instructors. Okay, so with no further ado, today we are here to introduce Brandon Flight Center's new Aviation Management Certificate Program in partnership with the fabulous folks over at Assiniboine Community College. We're going to give you a little bit of information on who BFC is and what it is that we do. We've been around for a really long time, but you likely haven't heard the name very often. Next, I'm going to go right into the meat of the program here with a full breakdown on what it is we're trying to do and how all those moving parts between Brandon Flight Center and Assiniboine Community College are going to fit in together. I'm going to try and give you a good idea of what it is you're going to be covering as you progress through each term. However, the number one rule in aviation is that your plans are going to change. So while the basic structure is set, specific courses, dates, times, and all that jazz are a little bit loose. We have a slightly better idea that I'm going to give off here. I just don't want to announce anything publicly that we're going to have to change. So while we are here to talk about the Aviation Management Program, at the end of the day, everybody's going to go off and graduate. So I want to take a little bit of time to also talk about the career path, additional training, and the next steps that you might have after you have graduated from this program. Then, if I've managed to do my job and convince you that this is the place for you, I will have some more details on entrance requirements and some key dates so that you make sure that you are able to apply and get in. We're going to finish up, as I mentioned, with your questions and where you can go for more information on this and our other programs. However, in order to keep this focused, I'm not going to go into a lot of discussion on our modular training program here. I'm also not going to be discussing information specific to our international students. If you are overseas and are looking for more detail, check out our website. I have a whole page specifically for international students, and I will list all of that information at the end of the program today. All right, BFC. Is it Brandon Flight Center or Brandon Flying Club? What is it exactly? Well, actually, it's both. Brandon Flying Club was incorporated way back in 1936 as the Brandon Verdon Flying Club. In 1939, right when the British Commonwealth Air Training Plan was getting started, the Department of Defense was already involved in the area, and we ended up suspending civil operations for the duration of World War II while we mobilized as part of that program. For people not familiar with BCATP, that program was responsible for training over 130,000 Air Force personnel from around the world over the course of the war. Brandon Flight School is lucky enough to continue to operate out of one of those original hangars, and it's a fantastic legacy we enjoy sharing with our students. Once the war was over, the club activities resumed, and we've continued to operate as a social club, a training center, and fixed price operation ever since. We remain a locally run, not-for-profit dedicated to supporting flight safety, training, and airmanship throughout the Westman area. We rebranded back in 2014 as the Brandon Flight Center to reflect the expansion and addition of more commercial functions, but the club remains at the heart of the organization today. Today, we're still home of the Brandon Flying Club, but we've expanded to offer, as I mentioned, that full FBO, providing ground handling, fueling, de-icing to our main carrier, WestJet, along with other airline and charter traffic. We have military aircraft in frequently, medical transfers, and general aviation. We have the full AMO providing maintenance right on site. Of course, we have our flight school, and we continue to engage in community involvement, such as offering youth flights, sightseeing, and we host the Air Cadets. Last year, we opened a secondary base, expanding our flight school operations north into the parkland for the people up in Dauphin. Okay, so now you know who we are. What is it we're trying to do? The aviation industry is changing rapidly. Pair that with a critical pilot shortage and a country that really depends on aviation to perform many critical services, and we're left with a really diverse, demanding career that will be looking towards younger and more inexperienced pilots to lead and deliver in ways they've never needed to before. So our goals are to ensure that you can do more than just fly a plane. We're here to ensure that you have the business, technological, and personal skills to lead and excel in this environment moving forward. Those are some really big, lofty goals, but this is an industry that went from flying is impossible to footprints on the moon in 60 years. We do amazing things every single day, and we're going to continue to do them. Here's how. First, we're starting out with an amazing training environment. The Canadian prairies are home to some of the best training environments in the world. Yeah, it's cold, it's dry, and it's flat, which fortunately means it's fairly clear, and we have stable weather year-round. Brandon Flight Center takes full advantage of that. We start right from the beginning with a mixed fleet of our Cessna 172s and Piper Cherokees. This mixed training fleet means that by the time students graduate, they have experience flying two very different aircraft and are already gaining the skills they need to prepare for all those type ratings that come down the road. We also have a certified flight training simulator, which we use primarily for introducing students to emergency procedures, just for safety purposes, and for instrument training. It's also really handy on those cold weather days when you just really don't want to be outside. As I mentioned, we are a full commercial airport, meaning large runways. We also have the advisory tower. It's a great way for students to practice flying with lots of really diverse traffic while still being slow enough not to interfere with training. And with the practice area just a couple of minutes away, you're not wasting your time with instructors flying there. The staff, by the way, are fantastic. I've never had the privilege of working with an entire team that is so dedicated to ensuring that they are always improving and growing. It's been incredible to watch what we've been able to build over the last few years, and we're far from done. It's been the ability to keep that club mentality with everybody, staff, students, members, everyone, sharing pride in the ownership and the community. Did I mention we're pet friendly? We have 2 cats that live here full time, and the administrative team often brings in their dogs. So you're never short of furry companionship, but you may have to play fetch. Finally, we're less than a mile outside of the city, and Brandon itself has a lot to offer. It's consistently voted as one of Canada's top 10 best places to live. We've got low cost of living, diverse and vibrant community, and at a population of just over 50,000, it's one of Canada's smallest cities to offer both a college and a university. In your first year, students are going to start out flying right from the beginning. You're going to complete your PPL ground school, you're going to get your radio operator certificate, and complete that first solo, all in your first term. By second term, students are going to be flying your 150 nautical mile cross-country flights, and completing both your written and flight tests. By the end of your first year, you're already a licensed pilot. Afternoons are going to be spent in the classroom at ACC's Victoria campus. Classes will be laying the foundations in business with personal, marketing, and project management, as well as fundamentals like math and stress management. Year 2 is going to build on that foundation with students kicking off first term with night and instrument flying. By term 2, you've got the freedom of cross-country navigation and your CPL license is in sight. We close out the year with a fun weekend getaway with the class planning, navigating, and flying to finish off the program on a high note. It's a great way to finish off those cross-country hours and still have a little bit of chance to let loose and bond at the end. Back in the classroom, those foundations you had in year 1 are definitely put to use. You've got classes on airline management, software navigation, policy application, and more. Getting to graduation, though, is really only the beginning. What comes next is limited by your imagination and whatever path you choose. Students will graduate with a commercial pilot license, which means they're now legally able to work as a pilot for hire in Canada. But in what capacity? Many of you will have aspirations for the airlines, and you choose to go on to the multi-engine and instrument ratings before moving up to the regional carriers like Vanguard, Perimeter, Fast Air, Kuwaitan. But BFC is a product of its environment, and we know the airlines are not the only options for a student. For many, the business fundamentals are at the foundation of your future as aerial applicators, either as a subcontractor or running your own operations. Or try switching seats and complete your instructor rating. BFC grads who complete their instructor rating may be offered a job upon graduation to stick around and join our team. Whether you decide to do that short-term building hours and taking advantage of that staff discount towards your APTL license, or you choose to make it a career and enjoy the fun of an aviation career without sacrificing time away from your family. Manitoba provides an incredibly diverse aviation industry with pilots needed for many essential tasks. As the FBO in Brandon, all of these guys end up through the door at one point, and it's a great opportunity for you to network. We see medical transfers, charters, conservation. We see oil and gas companies, hydro, and more. Students have the opportunity to explore all of these careers in detail and can customize their training to fit the path they want rather than paying for ratings they don't want or need. Talk to us early on. We may be able to incorporate some of these ratings into the time building component of your CPL. And if not, we can definitely help you later on. All right, so you like what you see. Now what? Well, first and foremost, you don't need previous flight experience to begin. If you have some of that experience, that works too. We are also accepting advanced placements for students who hold up to a PPL, and your tuition will be prorated to reflect that experience. Because this is a college level program, you do have to have your grade 12, including English and math. Physics is highly recommended, but not required. We will get you up to speed. You also need to be able to actually hold a commercial license. Therefore, students should have their medicals completed as soon as possible. These medicals must be completed by a Canadian Aviation Medical Examiner, and I have the link to the searchable database right on our website. Finally, the application forms can be found on our website. Deadline to apply is June 30th, and your registration deposits are due no later than August 1st. Classes start September 7th, so don't wait. This was a really quick overview of the Aviation Management Certificate and never meant to answer every possible question. Please reach out if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, and we're happy to help in any way we can. As with any new project, there's always going to be things that we never think of. Your questions help us see this from a student's perspective and help us to continue to develop and improve this program to meet your needs. Don't assume your question is silly or unimportant. If you can't find an answer, honestly, it's likely because we haven't thought to ask the question ourselves. Okay, so we're going to get right into those questions here. I've had a few come in. So let me just pull this one here. Okay, first one here is, what are the delivery methods? Okay, that's a good one. So after 2 years of COVID, I think we're all sick and tired of online classes. Flight training is by nature in-person, hands-on, one-on-one. The rest of the time, when you're not in an airplane, you're going to be in a group with your classmates, either doing flight theory, so your PPL and CPL ground schools, or in class at Assiniboine Community College. In the event that we have another pandemic, I mean, it can happen. In Manitoba, at least, flight training has been declared essential. We will continue to operate just with enhanced sanitation practices. Classrooms may need to alter to online, but that is only in the event of another pandemic like we've seen and not likely to happen. Okay, what's my next question here? Oh, I've got a good one. I get this all the time. I wear glasses. Can I apply? Yes, I wear glasses myself. Absolutely. As long as your vision can be corrected to 20/20 and you're not colorblind, you're usually good. I will say, as someone who wears glasses, you may want to consider trying out contacts. If you aren't comfortable in them, make sure when you buy your headset, you test drive them with your glasses on. Nothing worse than having those glasses smooshed in with a headset. Okay, what next? Oh, I knew somebody was going to ask this. What about cannabis use? Ugh. Okay. Yes, cannabis use is legal in Canada. It is not, however, legal to fly high. Transport Canada has a 28-day prohibition on the use of cannabis prior to flying. Most companies, including Brandon Flight Center, have a flat prohibition on it. You cannot have cannabis in your system at all and fly. Please don't risk it. We do random drug tests. It's not worth losing your license over. Okay, on a related note, alcohol is also a minimum of 12 hours bottle to throttle, meaning even if you only have one drink, you must wait at least 12 hours before flying. If you've had more than that, you've got to wait even longer. Because our students are flying in the morning, we really encourage students to be mindful of their alcohol intake while you're with us. Are there scholarships? Yes. I have a list of scholarships that are available for aviation students. I post them frequently on our Facebook page, so if you're interested, follow along there. There are also lots of other ways of financing besides scholarships. You can use RESPs. Student loans are an option, especially if you're a woman or a minority. There are lots of grants and bursaries. But if you are interested in looking for scholarships, let me know. I routinely search around and see what I can find. And if I know that you're looking, I can kind of keep you in mind. All right, next question. I already have a CPL. Can I enroll? That one's a tough one. The answer there, maybe. In the event that we have open seats available, they may be made available to domestic students who hold a CPL license already. It would not be an option that is open to international students at all, and preference will always be given to a PPL student because the course is really designed to take somebody from zero to a CPL. If you're not flying, you really do miss out on a lot of that experience, and it's if you do that, but it may potentially be an option for you. Anything else? I'm not seeing anything pop in. Okay. Well, we are going to close off here. It looks like we've got everybody's questions answered. For reference, a recording of this will be posted on our website when we're done. If you have a question here and it wasn't answered, please reach out. I will be taking all of those questions that we receive afterwards and posting them to the website, so make sure to come back often. If you're in the Brandon area, feel free to stop in. We're at Hangar 2. You can't miss us. Feel free